there's cool guys, there's fool guys, there's tell 'em our old school guys, there's nice guys, wise guys, tell 'em lots of lies guys. I've seen 'em, they're hanging about on the corner of High Street and Cashel.
One of the great things about the Christchurch Music Scene pre-quake was that, you know, you could pick any genre of music on any given night and find somewhere where it was being played in the city.
Christchurch lost a lot of venues and some beautiful ones as well, but I think it's really brought the community together really nicely.
It's kind of a reflection of just how Christchurch has not changed and has changed. There's progress in some areas, in other areas it's just the same as.
After the earthquake, the scene felt very fragmented, and I guess a lot of that was probably, you know, musicians regathering their own personal lives and then sort of planning, I don't know if the bands were going to carry on or where to from here, I guess. And it's been good watching that process sort of unfold as people have kind of found their bearings again, and new bands have formed, or, you know, old bands have got back together, and you know, the scene's gradually starting to flourish again.
I think the big thing that's changed about the music scene in the last year in Christchurch is definitely just all the changes that have happened around town. Obviously a year ago the music scene was in a particular state, and just over, you know, every day things are changing, so yesterday is going to be different to today, so you multiply that by 365 and you get that much change.
Well, we don't go out anymore, yeah. So we wouldn't really know. I don't know, I mean, just from reading stuff, there's a lot of really good stuff in Christchurch at the moment.
I was only just entering the scene when the earthquakes actually happened, but it seems to me like there's all these little bars, like we're currently at Monday Room. It seems as if there's all these little bars, you know, when all the music venues got squashed in the earthquake, all these other venues have sort of started to go, well, hang on, we can do a bit of live music too. So there's now these bars that are doing live music 7 nights a week.
Christchurch before the earthquakes, what didn't exactly have the best central scene compared to Wellington or Dunedin, but that was kind of exaggerated by the earthquake. And now we're kind of left with some really great venues, but they're all kind of spread out across the city, like Wonder Bar.
Wonder Bar.
I'm sitting on the stage of the Wonder Bar right now. And the Wonder Bar is a really long-standing music venue in Christchurch, in Littleton, Christchurch, that is still around after the earthquakes, and a lot of them closed down. So this space did have to close down for repairs on a couple of occasions, and there's always been a big celebration when it reopens.
Dark room. Dark room. Dark room.
So yes, sometimes I get a little nervous, I get left behind, but I won't waste your time. I gotta let you know, I won't let you go, no, no.
I think one of the best things about post-earthquake Christchurch is the dark room. I think Jasper and Tennille did a pretty amazing job creating something so soon, and because it was really important, especially at that time when nothing else was happening.
Ducks Live.
Ducks Live is a great little live venue. It's built or purposely kit out for music, so it sounds great, but you know, the ambience isn't quite the same as the old Ducks, you know, so you win some, you lose some.
I'm actually going to be honest and say I don't think the music's changed that much. Music will change continuously, so there's no actual focus on the change in music that I don't think could be attributed to an event such as an earthquake. What has changed dramatically is things like venues, practice spaces, people's mental health,
maybe lyrical content of what the music might be about, studios, costs, things like that have changed dramatically and drastically.
Well, I was pretty young when the earthquakes happened, so I didn't know too much about the music scene, but things was kind of brewing, especially around Littleton. After the earthquake, I think in general the scene's a lot more together. It's like this great big dysfunctional family, and everyone sort of loves each other, but there's always issues, but in the end everyone works together really well.
How has the music scene changed in Christchurch in the last year? I think it's still growing and it's still coming together, and I think people are still, I don't know, getting to know each other and collaborating more than they ever were. I think it's brought people closer, but that's me. I'm seeing lots of positive stuff coming out of it, and lots of different approaches to things, because we don't have that many venues where make our own.
Scene has gotten busier. There's been more gigs. People are, I guess, working harder to put out a quality product, and so I found that we were going and playing a lot more gigs after the earthquake, and I was attending a lot more gigs after the earthquake. So it's kind of weird, but in a roundabout way, I think that the earthquake kind of helped the Christchurch music scene a little bit.
I think that's what we're missing at the moment the most, just having all the bands from right around the country touring like they used to.
I don't think there's anything positive at all about an earthquake in itself. But I guess it gives can give a lot of people something to write about. I mean, I suppose a lot of hope songs could come out. I think people are getting all a bit over it now though. You know what I mean? Getting a bit over the cones.
Everyone else looks prettier.
Here before the earthquakes. I never played a show in Christchurch before the earthquakes. I only started coming down. My very first tour here was in November 2012, so I don't really have much of a perspective of what it was like before, but when I started coming down here I noticed how it was different to where I'd been before, which was in Auckland, where bands down here seem to be able to play more regularly and people come to their shows. There's no sense of bands wearing themselves out or overexposure or anything like that, which is just stupid ideas that are around in Auckland.
It's really an interesting environment to write in as well. It's very different to where I used to be. It's kind of, I like the Christchurch environment because you can see all these like crazy ruins that just you don't see every day, and it's almost like historical in a way.
For me personally, it's opened up since the earthquake, because I was basically kind of in the very, very early stages of recording prior to the earthquake and just doing the odd open mic night. So I wasn't really too involved in the live scene, whereas now I'm obviously kicking a lot.
Without putting too much backstory, this is what you see behind me is studio number 3. So studio 1 was lost in the first quake, rebuilt again, lost in the second quake on my birthday, nevertheless, and at that point everything was lost, everything was gone, and this is number 3.
Well, obviously we lost loads of venues, and Littleton comes to mind for me because I spent a lot of time there, going to a number of venues.
This is my Littleton song.
wasn't so aware of what we've got going on culturally in Christchurch until more recently, and it's just emphasised it, I think. You know, it's sort of like you've got something really personal to talk about with strangers you've never met before.
In a way, there's been a benefit of that happening, is a lot of people that were maybe getting involved or being a part of the music industry for the wrong reasons have been pushed out, because it takes a lot of true passion and dedication to stick with it around here at the moment.
It's hard. It's really hard for me in a way, because we're not here very much. You know, we travel a lot, and we've been making a new album, and that sort of keeps us tight. Also because I'm very old, and so, you know, when we're not playing, which we do 4 or 5 nights a week, either wherever, I don't tend to go out too much, you know. And what I hope is happening, and what I think is happening, is that there are a lot of really cool young bands that would not want anything to do with an old guy like me coming to watch them play, and that is exactly how it should be. There is more to this town, and as the night collapses, we get right. Happy to be true, forever be true.
Felt about Christchurch when I started making music here is that I felt like there was a really strange competitiveness that didn't need to exist, and since the earthquakes, that's just gone away completely. I just feel like everyone's just come together in a really community way, starting with Littleton, but also in the wider city as well, just people working together and being supportive of each other and encouraging of each other.
Promoters and bands, DJs, rappers, everyone understands that they're got to pull together and put in that little bit more extra effort.
The earthquake really brought out the kind of drive and more passion in a lot of musicians, and I think musicians that are still here in Christchurch, they're either like doing really great stuff, like there's the Fledge guys, and there's heaps of great people, or there's people who are a little bit dark. And are here just because I've always been here.
Some people up and left because of it. You know, some people made major life change that they perhaps wouldn't have made had it not been for the earthquake to begin with. You know, me, I was the opposite. I didn't move away. I moved back.
We go through these cycles here where, like, either everyone's here and there's lots happening, or everyone's away and there's not much happening with all of us together, you know. But it's cool, you know, and it's cool that we can take what we do outside of here as well, you know. I think, you know, what I hope is happens around Christchurch, and what I think, there's a lot of diverse things happening, a lot of people doing different things, and I think that's so great.
you felt like, you know, anything could happen at any moment, a massive disaster could happen at any moment, so why would you waste your time not doing what you love? And so I think a lot of people are inspired to put a lot more effort into their music and stuff, just because that's what you want to do. You only got one life. We know that for sure now, you know. We've had these horrible earthquakes and yeah, just gotta do it.
It's been interesting watching how resilient I think musicians in particular can be.
I think it's changed for the better. I think that, you know, whatever has started happening is still rolling, and I think we're, you know, going very fast. We're snowballing down a hill towards awesomeness.
I was lucky enough to be part of so the Eastern recording an album called Hope and Wire, which is out. They've actually just done another album since then, and they were given a house in Dallington to record their album. This weird place became a transitional studio, so people talk about transitional architecture and all this weird pop-up things. There was a pop-up studio in the middle of frickin' Dallington.
That's a really positive thing. We've got a new studio open with Michael Bell has opened Orange Studios, and that's a fantastic resource. It's an amazing room. He's done a great job. I think it's going to be used a lot, and you know, along with Ben Edwards in the sitting room, that means that we've now got a couple of really good spaces for us to actually capture our content, and we don't have to go to Wellington or Auckland to do that anymore.
I guess a few people might have written some good songs. I mean, bad things always make people write good songs, so this is a pretty bad thing.
All of these stories and experiences have come bubbling to the surface, and for a musician, that's, you know, we've got this ability to give voice to those stories and to express it in different ways with our music.
Into jazz school, the bloody earthquake happened, so yeah, I wasn't really able to experience the scene in depth pre-earthquake, but I think positive outcomes, just probably a bit more of a community, I guess.
I'd like to keep playing in Christchurch more often, because I feel like people need to go see stuff, they need to have stuff to do, because there's not as much going on as there might have been before.
Andrew Denson and myself have been doing with Chambers sessions. We've been thinking, let's give it a go. Like, there's not really much stuff like this that's happening where you can come into like a focused listening environment and just really, yeah, hear all the good juicy parts of the music, like the dynamic, and you don't have to worry about lots of noise from just like other people that are just wanting to socialise and have a drink kind of thing. So it's really music focused.
I wasn't here before the earthquake, so I hadn't got any concept of how the music scene was, but I really like the music scene down here a lot more than I do in the other cities I've been to. Like, I prefer it to the Auckland scene, so yeah, it's good.
So many amazing people like Marlon and Aldous Harding coming out of Littleton.
There's a massive amount of young, keen musicians out there. It's nice to see that, you know, who are wanting to play live music and create new original music too. So I think that's a big positive.
Have seen over the past few years what they can do, and that's really cool.
I've just heard that there's a new all-ages venue that's opened up in town, which is really fantastic, because we need more all-ages venues, because it's not only people who are over 18 who want to go to shows.
Something like an earthquake is just amazing fodder for any creative person to react to.
There's been a lot of there's been a resurgence in music from Christchurch, about Christchurch, and I think it's caused us to think about who we really are as a city and what sounds, you know, what do we sound like as a city.
Apart from the fact that the music industry and the wider community have been working together in a more community sort of way, it's also kind of broken any stagnation, any sense of stagnation in Christchurch. It's always been a city that's been inherently afraid of change. It's just good for a city like Christchurch, I think. You know, there was always that sense when you went away from Christchurch it was always going to be exactly the same when you came back, and now it's really not like that.
Well, Lauren and I have got this, so that's sort of
that's the future for us.
yeah. But when she was still inside, we were recording at the sitting room a little album with us two and a friend of ours, Joe McCullum, on drums for Terrible Sins.
Well, at the moment I'm involved with a duo here in Christchurch called Tokona Tea House, and a lot of my time is being spent on a project called the Beautiful Beast project, which has been evolving for about a year now.
Band that has ever set goals or done any of that kind of stuff. We've never really been, you know, that always seems like something that marketing people do, is, you know, goal setting and, you know, climb the mountain and all that shit. That's really not our business at all. We just like to play and sing and see things and meet people.
What's coming up for Loose and Green? Hopefully more bookings. Obviously we've done really well this year with getting a broader reach. Our record label, 3 Recordings, is ticking along, and we're going to be putting a lot more focus and effort into recording Christchurch electronic artists.
Really excited because we've just finished an album that we're going to be releasing in July. We're going to be doing a tour through the country, starting at the Wonder Bar, which is fantastic. Actually, the Wonder Bar show is the one that I'm looking forward to the most in the whole tour, which is really exciting.
I've been back in Christchurch a few months now to release my album Pigal. And now I'm just about to head back overseas because it's getting just a little bit too cold for me here in Christchurch. And yeah, the flooding and stuff that I've experienced over this period of time on the east side has been pretty awful, and I'm not really keen to spend the winter here. So I'm going touring in Germany and France to get this new album out. And then I'm going to be back next summer to see what's new.
Well, the future for me musically is AHI. I'm very committed to AHI, and so are the guys in the band. So we've got our EP coming out in July, on July 4th, and then we're going on a nationwide tour, and we're doing our first couple shows in Australia. So that's all happening in July, and basically we're just aiming to write and record our next album and play heaps more shows in New Zealand and Australia, hopefully get on some support act slots, some festival slots, and just really push.
The Bats, we're now working on a new bunch of material which we're going to be recording in Ben Edwards' studio over in Littleton, which is probably quite a common thread through a lot of the musicians around. He's a great person to work with.
For the future of Dopera specifically, we're hoping to go overseas a lot of travel, a lot of releases pretty soon as well.
For me, I'm going to be, the big thing I'm looking forward to is the tour with Hero. We're heading over to Iceland to play at Iceland Airwaves, which is a festival sort of directed at the more indie sort of scene. So that's going to be really fun. I'm keen to check out some weird countries that has only 4 hours of sunlight per day and stuff like that. Eat some rotten shark, apparently they do that. And then yeah, headed through New York and stuff, so I'm excited just to see the world and take my music around the world.
The future holds very exciting things at the moment. We have an event coming up on the 2nd of October called First Thursdays. It's going to be the first time that it happens in Christchurch. First Thursdays is kind of a one-night arts festival extravaganza, and you can look up what's coming up on First Thursdays chch.co.nz. Jed and I are going to Iceland, so in November we leave for a month to play 2 weeks in Iceland. We're playing the Iceland Airways Festival, which is a very exciting festival, and we're going to do a mini tour of some towns around the country before heading to New York, LA, and then back to New Zealand for a summer, which is very exciting. It's really cold at the moment. Really, really cold.
A key project that I've been involved in for the last couple of years was working for an organisation called Chart, the Christchurch Music Industry Trust. So yeah, we fundraised to build a rehearsal facility called Beatbox, and it is very, very close to being complete finally, so we're very excited about that.
We are in the process of making our album, which has been taking us quite a long time. What feels like a long time, at least a year and a half or something like that, and it's nearly finished, and we're planning to release it in October.
I think with regards to Fledge and our future projects, there's some exciting things coming together, and some of it's just a kind of a natural progression from what we've already done and artists that we've been working with, but that we're now at the stage of making albums and releasing albums. Two of the really exciting things are upcoming releases for Happiness Stan. The album's pretty much finished, and for Jen Turner, who we've started making her album now as well, and we're really excited about that.
My friends, my sweet dead friends.
Continue please. Continue please.
Where is this place you decided to meet? I'm holding my breath still. Well, I always wondered just what it would take to disappear and sweet babe. Where do hear sweet nothings against your blessing? Step away. I'm smoking.